So I will officially say welcome and thank you for being with me. I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes. And during this time, I want you to set an intention. What is it that you'll be working on while I go on with this month's theme? So, whatever intention you have, like I'm going to clear off the kitchen table, I'm going to do my morning routine, I'm going to do my evening routine, whatever time zone you're in right now, I'm going to clean up my refrigerator, whatever it is, and then put it in the chat. And if you aren't watching this live with me and you are part of my inner circle, then please get it in the group and just say, this is what I'm doing. I'm watching the replay. And this way you have like accountability and you have company and somebody else will join you. If you're not part of my inner circle, of course, I'll invite you to be. But if you are not going to take that invitation, then what I would do is I would go into one of my groups that I've got on Facebook, or you could even email me, Kathy at thetidytutor.com, and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm watching the replay. And while I'm watching the replay, here's what I'm doing. I'm setting my intention. So I'm going to set the timer now for 30 minutes. And this way, as I'm going on with what I'm going to talk about today, you'll be working on whatever you're working on. And when you feel that urge to do something else or to get distracted and look up something or something, I guess that's the same thing as do something else. You're going to say, no, no, I'm committed to this for 30 minutes. Kathy will tell me when the 30 minutes is up. And when it's up, I'll take a little break. At that time, what I'll do is ready, set, go. Okay. At that time, what I'll do is I'll set a timer for 5 minutes and I'll say, okay, 5 minute break. If you want to take a break, then you do. Get a drink of water, relax a little bit, maybe stretch or something. And then you could come back and put in the chat, here it is, what I've done during this time, and report in, this is what I'm doing next. And then after the 5 minutes is up, I'll set the timer for another 25 minutes. And at that point, you'll just keep going, knowing that you could follow through with what you're doing for 25 minutes. And then at the end, if you have any questions, I'll answer them. So if you have any questions during, you can come back, type them in. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll address them at the end, okay? Just make sure that you reference the question. So if the question was, yes, that happens to me all the time, I hate when that happens, then you have to say exactly what that was, because by the time I look at it, I won't know what it was that you didn't like that happens, okay? All right, sorry, I have to take a drink. All right, so for 1 second, I'm going to look at the chat and see what you guys got going on. Okay. Carolyn said hi. Hi, Carolyn. Oh, you're Riki. Did I say it right? Is it Riki or Ricky? Riki, I think, right? From Jerusalem.
Ricky. Yeah.
Ricky.
Yep.
Okay, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Oh,
Hi.
from Jerusalem. Susan is working on your laundry room as best as I can in the time today. Awesome. Darlene, I'm working on my kitchen. Fabulous. Christy is getting laundry together to wash outside, getting ready to go there, and also going on my child's play area with her. Fabulous. And Carolyn, she's working on getting her office cleared for the holiday gifts. And Mary is a little of everything. Sometimes, though, Mary, that's why I say to set an intention, because a little of everything could turn out to be a lot of nothing. So if it was me, I would decide on one thing and then move to another thing. So I would say, all right, the little of everything, the first little of everything will be the tabletop or my dresser top or whatever room you're in, this particular corner. Because when we jump around from one thing to another, what ends up happening is, wait 1 second. I want to just do this, do not disturb. What ends up happening is we do what I call a lot of nothing. And even though we've worked very hard for very long, we have nothing to show for it. So focus on one thing at a time. It's just my professional advice. And as you know, I am the professional. Okay, so I did get a text that was from somebody in our meeting. And she said, I can't figure out how to chat on Zoom. My intention is morning routine completion. Fabulous. And that was Debbie. Debbie, somewhere there's it says chat, but I'm on a laptop, so I don't know what it looks like on the phone if you're on the phone. But that's fine. We got your intention. It's all good. All right. So the recording's going and we're all happy about that. That's for sure. And I'm going to have to go to my screen. And before I move on again, I'm going to let you know what happened to me this morning. I had a little bit of a family emergency. So most of the day, up until 15 minutes before we were meeting, I was unavailable to go over my notes and to do the tweaking that I wanted to do earlier. So we're gonna just kind of shoot from the hip here, which is just fine. It's just that I'm probably not gonna be showing any slides. One time Pam Young said to me, we did a luncheon together, her and I, and she saw all that I did. And she said, if I did all that you did, I probably wouldn't do it. She said, when me and my sister showed up for something, we just had bullets. Even like if we had a 3-day, retreat. She said, we showed up with whatever it was that we were gonna give out for the retreat, but we would just have note cards with bullets on it and we would just talk. So I definitely can do that and I like that too. I also kind of like to have just some things prepared. So that's just a little bit me, but I know I've got this. All right. All right. So the theme for this meeting and what I have chosen, unless God directs me differently, to have the theme for the year to be enjoying the journey, a fresh start with purpose and momentum. I think that is a theme that we could have all year long. One of the things about a fresh start that you might be thinking, well, how could a fresh start be something we could do all year? Well, there's a verse in the Bible that says, his mercies are fresh every morning. And I love that. There's something that I'm going to look it up right now, real quick, before his name was Ralph Waldo Emerson. Quote, I'll find it. Okay. So this is something that goes right along with that verse. His mercies are fresh every morning. That verse is like, forget about what was yesterday. Forget about anything that happened before. Today's a new day. And we get to start over. And we could do that every day because the fact is, none of us are perfect. We all blow it. And some of the things I want to share with you today is the reality of how that really is how it goes. We think so often that things are supposed to be damn good. Like, if not perfect, we know that things aren't perfect, but we really kind of expect them to be really good. And if we fall down too much, well, something must not be right. But the fact is, that's not true. Tony Robbins said, the biggest problem people have is that they think they're not supposed to have any. So the other thing that I'm going to share with you right now is what I've just said I looked for from Ralph Waldo Emerson that goes perfectly with the theme, part of the theme for this year, a fresh start. So he said, he wrote this actually to, let's see, make sure I get it. He wrote this to his daughter when she was in college. And I guess it was a letter that he sent to her. And it says, share screen. So I just found it on quotefancy.com. It says, finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely and with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. And that's a fact, and that's truth. And that's why I wanted to, let me stop the share. And so between that and the verse in the Bible that says that his mercies are fresh every morning, and the newfound knowledge that I've acquired not that long ago, and that I'm going to either pass on to you if you don't know it, or help you to just reiterate what it is that you know now, because I really feel like this thing needs to be said over and over again to ourselves. That's part of our theme. His mercies are fresh every morning, but actually our theme is a fresh start. So it starts with enjoying the journey. And this is something that is absolutely necessary. We need to enjoy the journey because we need for things to be fun. How many times have you tried to get it together and to like live the life that you want to live without a mess, without clutter, and organized, and you haven't been able to do it? And it's because you're trying to learn from people that don't think like us. So if you're more right-brained than left-brained, you're gravitating to things that the left brain would never even care about. We have something that has a feeling nature as part of our heart and our life and the way we move. The left brain people, they do things based on the need. Well, this has to be done, so I do it, regardless of how they feel. Now, people like me and you, we think, well, what are you kidding? Do you know what just happened to me? No, I can't make my bed. No, I can't do the dishes. No, don't you know what just happened? And organizationally gifted people in the world, they just say, they feel the way they feel. Whatever it is that happened, still happened. But they don't feel connected. If they wash a dish, I mean, if they eat and they have a dirty dish, they're going to wash that dish. We have in our natures is an element of fun and feeling that is there. And if it's not there, you feel like we can't do it. Now, in understanding that, when things aren't right, then we can just change our minds, have a different mindset and say, I'll do it anyway. But there's going to be so much of the time, especially if you're just starting out or you're starting over because for whatever reasons, things went to hell in a handbasket. If that is something that you're dealing with now, then you're going to have to know that the time is going to pass, whether you like it or not. You might as well like it. So knowing how we tick, knowing it needs to be fun, figuring out a way so that what we do can be enjoyable on the road, and then taking some of my been there and done that foresight or insight, whichever one it should be, that you really can enjoy the journey. You can have a plan in place that you can implement, feeling like, okay, everything isn't cool or anything, the place is a wreck, but I have a plan. I have a system in place. The stuff that's bugging me, I'll get to it because of my plan. I know I'll get to it, and I'll just do what I need to do now and decide to enjoy it on the road, because Kathy told me that as time goes by, you're going to wish you did. And I choose to believe her. I choose to believe, Kathy, that when all is said and done, I'm going to wish that I enjoyed myself while I was doing it. So with that comes that part of the theme. And I hope that you take that to heart because it's true. So you want to enjoy the journey, a fresh start. We already talked about that. But I'd like to say something else about it. We organizationally challenged people tend to put ourselves down quite a bit. We will judge ourselves very harshly. And because of that, we need to be able to each day let it go and start fresh. We also have to realize that, which I'm going to get into today, that some of you have been with me before, you've seen it. I still need to go over it quite often, so it's not like we're not going to appreciate it anyway. And some of you maybe never heard of it before, because before I heard of it, obviously I never heard of it, but it was a game changer for me. And that is that things are not supposed to go easily and perfectly, that we are going to fall down. The road to success is not a straight line, it's a climb. We climb, we get tired, we need to stop. We climb, we fall. Before, when we fell, we would feel like, oh boy, did I screw up? And then we go back to start. I used to do that with my spiritual journey for a long time. I would seek God. I would be on the road to whatever plan it was that I had, living by faith, believing for something, and then just totally blow it. And what I used to do was I would just condemn myself and then say, oh, all right, I got to start over again. And what I've learned is we don't start over again. We start right where we are. That's why a lot of times we're in this, like, and this is a Star Trek term, a causality loop, where the same things are happening over and over again because we don't allow ourselves to grow and move on. We think we've got to go back to start. No, we don't. When we fall down, we just get up and we start again from where we are. So a fresh start. And then the next part of it is with purpose and momentum. Momentum is a huge word, a word that I didn't realize was such a cool word until I realized what a cool word it was. So first, about purpose. Purpose is the need to keep going when we get weary. When we have purpose, we're able to keep going. Purpose has a why attached to it. Why am I doing this? Without the why, which part of it is a vision, where we have a vision for something, when things get tough, it's so easy to say, I'm not doing this anymore. When sometimes it's even when we've reached a plateau, like a good plateau, like we've gotten to a place where things are good, or really they're just better. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll sit back and we'll say, oh, good, everything's fine now. I don't have to do anything anymore. This is great. And then after a little while, we realize, oh, wait, it's not great. It's just not horrible anymore. This happens sometimes when we set a goal that isn't really clearly defined. Like if you set a goal, I want to look better and I want to feel better and look better, let's say, right? Well, if you're sticking to something for 2 weeks, in 2 weeks' time, I can guarantee you, if you're eating clean, you're exercising, and you're drinking enough water, you're going to feel better and you're going to look better. And so at that point, you could be saying, oh, this is great, like you've arrived. And then a few weeks go by, and without continuing, how long do you think that feel better and look better is going to last? And then also, you're going to look in the mirror and say, after a few weeks, I do feel better and look better than I did before, but this isn't what I wanted. So being clear on what you wanted is really important. And that's where purpose comes in. What's your purpose? What's your intent? What's your vision? What do you want? What is it that you want to see happen? So that's another thing that will drive us on and keep us going. And then the next thing is momentum. Momentum is huge. Momentum is something that most of us never get to. So a good way, I'm going to see if I can see this on my screen, because if I can, I'm going to share the image. Give me 1 second. But there is an image that I want you to see. This was about the law of momentum. And what I said in the beginning of it was, you hear about the law of attraction. but the law of action and momentum have severely been neglected. Now, I'm just going to keep going, and I'll stop when I feel like it's pertinent. I mean, all of it is, but we can't spend all our time on this. So this screen says, when we want something to change, it's obvious that we're not experiencing what it is that we want yet. When something isn't happening, we've got to take action to see results, and we all know that. But something that we don't realize is that creating change and taking the new needed action is not a natural process for the human being. To see change we want, we have to do things differently, and we have to do it differently often. It has to be very deliberately scheduled and consistent. You don't have to be good at it. We don't have to succeed at it every day. It's called practice. Come to this screen, which is the part that I thought was really a great visual to share about the law of momentum. The thing that we need to achieve what it is that we want to achieve in any area of life. And in this case, it's in getting our acts together at home. So the law of momentum is it is applying physics to a new thing that we want to make happen. Remember from Tidy Tutor University, now known as Tidy Tutor Masterclass. And if anyone here hasn't experienced that, I think you'll still get it. We talked about the deer paths in our minds, thoughts that turn into well-worn grooves that become our habits. And it's how we've been behaving and believing. And so what ends up happening is we end up acting out those thought paths.
Yeah.
So I want you to think of those deer paths in our brains as train tracks. Now, here's what we need to understand. And if anybody needs me to go over that a little bit, let me know. But I think it's pretty clear. When we think things over and over and over again, we literally create grooves in our brain. And those grooves are the thought patterns we have. And we behave according to those thought patterns. Okay, so we make changes. To make changes, we need to change those grooves or tracks. And that happens slowly. It happens with momentum. Because when those paths have been created, they were created after a long period of time. Now, it could possibly be that there was one very poignant event, like an event that was like shocking, that stuck there. And now that is a groove. And that's the way we will internalize ourselves and walk in the world like. Even if it does happen in a bam, if we've been living with a specific mindset and belief pattern for a long time, it's going to take a long time for that belief pattern or those grooves in our brain to be grown over and a new set made. But here's the thing about momentum. It's a perfect example. The steam engine. It's a perfect example of momentum. So think of a train engine and how they start up. You've been on, I'm sure that in today's day and age, there might be trains that can go from 0 to 90 in a second. I don't know. But I know that any train I've ever gotten on takes a little time to move along until it gets to a point where it's going very quickly. Now, the steam engine, it had to be fed coal until it built up enough steam and it would move ahead and move ahead and move ahead. If I'm not reading the screen, I'm just improvising here. If a cow, say, walked on the track shortly after it got started and the conductor saw the cow ahead, it would easily be able to slow down the train and stop it. But once that train has gained momentum and it's going, it's not going to be so easy to stop. In fact, it's impossible for it to stop on a dime. It just can't. And that's the thing that we want to do. And we want to be aware of as we're moving ahead towards our goals, that, or whatever it is that we want to reach, our, anything that we're learning. When we're in We want to get the house together. We have a lot of habits to change. We have a lot of things that we have to do differently. But there's those things looming in the background that we've been doing for years. It takes a decision and it takes action to make that happen. And we have to do it even when we don't feel like it. Okay, so the time is up. And so that means I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. And so let's get the timer going on. And this is just a little break, all right? So you've been working for 30 minutes. You could go back into the chat and say, this is what I've gotten done this 30 minutes. Let me get a sip of my water, please. Thank you. You could say, this is what I've gotten done in 30 minutes, or you could just keep going. You could take a little break and I'll let you know 5 minutes, kind of 5 minute break, okay? Then I'll set the timer for another 25. So let me speed this along because we got a lot to cover. Okay, so of course I don't remember where I left off, but I know that we were on momentum and that when we're starting anything new, we have to do it even when we don't want to. But the thing is that we don't have to do it all day. Like if you're playing the piano and learning the piano, do you all day long have to practice the piano to get good at the piano? No. But can you not sit down at the piano and be good at it? No. You have to take the time. You have to. Now there's some other things like say weight loss. There are certain things like say with that, or let's say with getting the house together. There are certain things that you have to practice, like we have a morning routine. We have a time to wake up and go to sleep. We have a do it now habit. It goes where it goes. If it leaves your hand, it goes where it goes. Now, if you ignore that all day and you just spend a minute on it in the morning, what kind of results do you think you're going to get? Well, not very many, just like the same with your beliefs. If you are believing that I never get what I want, I'm a loser, let's say that, right? I'll always be a mess. There's something wrong with me. Let's say that. And then you wake up in the morning and you have a goal. I'm not going to believe that about myself anymore. Well, there's going to be times during the day that you say that to yourself. But because you're aware that your goal is to think the opposite of that of yourself, it's okay if you fall down and you say those things because it's not going to go away overnight. We're not going to be perfect overnight. We're not going to wake up and all of a sudden, I want to do this. And here's my plan. So now my bed is made like we're magic. My house is clean. This is magic. My bathroom's perfect. This is magic. It doesn't work that way. It takes a decision and consistency. That's all. It takes a decision that we have and a plan, and then we work that plan and we do it best we can. The main thing we don't want to do is forget about it. As long as we keep going, we will gain momentum. And then as we gain momentum, it gets to the point where it's not only easy, but it's a flow. It's something that just happens now. Just like maybe it was very common to wake up, stay in your pajamas most of the day, and only get dressed when you were going out. It will, I promise you, get to a point where you wouldn't do that ever. Like, unless you were like, damn sick, you ain't doing it. And I can tell you, I really mean it. I mean that. It didn't happen for me overnight. Almost it did in a way, because when I adopted the shower, dress, and groom before anything, and now we say get cute, because there's lots of people that are part of my world that are in the younger generation, and they really don't like shower, dress, and groom. And then there's also some people, and I'm one of them now, I don't shower every day. Sometimes I'll shower, sometimes I'll skip a shower. I always skip the shower on Friday, and that's because I watch my grandson. And when I go there, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to watch him. And that happens to be the day that I just wash up, get dressed. I don't sweat like I used to sweat. I don't have to shower every day. My hair is fine. I can brush it, put a little flat iron, bada boom. But I still get cute, if you know what I mean. So there's a lot of people in the older generation, they just don't have to shower every day. They'll do it like every other day or so. And that's fine too. But the habit is that we get ourselves ready before anything. And in the beginning, is it easy? Well, for me, it kind of was because I hit bottom. I really did. I was at the lowest of my lows in a mess. Then I couldn't live like that anymore. And so I did what I was told. And getting dressed and showered first thing, I just did it. But the thing that has happened for me is that it's gained a point of momentum where it's not even something I have to think about anymore. Even on the holidays, even on Christmas morning, I get up a little bit earlier than I need to, and I just get myself dressed. I've learned through the years that it's the easiest way to live. It's the best way to be. I'm going to assume that the 5 minutes went off and my freaking phone didn't tell me. So I'm going to set the timer for 25 minutes and say that the timer went off because this happens sometimes with my phone and I don't know why. And I don't want to get a new one because it works. So we're gonna hit start and we got 25 more minutes on the clock, okay? If you want to set a new intention, then go in the chat, or if you're watching this on replay, however it is that you're reporting in, if you're part of my inner circle, go into our private group. We're no longer on Facebook. We have our own private group. Go in there, bada boom, put it in. I'm watching it. This is what I'm doing. And but you're here with me now, so get it in the chat. Either you're moving on or you've changed direction, okay? All right, I'm gonna move to another slide. All right, just like us, when we begin something, at first it's easy to stop. But once it gets going, it takes time to stop. It has to be slowed down. It has to decrease speed. It has to slowly decrease momentum. And what we want to do is we want to be aware that we want to do what we need to do long enough so that we gain momentum. And that takes action. So I think that was it. Let's see. I don't think I need to get on with anything else with this topic here. Maybe this screen. Let's see what this says. When we're going for change, there are already trains running through our minds at different stages of momentum. Some have gathered up steam for decades. They're going to take the most time to slow down and stop or change its direction. We need momentum. Your new motivating direction, your new desire and plan is a brand new train just leaving the station of your mind. See that? So if you find yourself having difficulty keeping up or doing or being consistent, then just recognize what's going on. You have had a train going in your mind for a long time and your behaviors for a long time. And it's going to take some time to undo. Allow yourself that courtesy and that privilege to take the time to do it. Just keep going. I promise you it'll work. The point is to keep going. Okay, so I think we'll stop there. There is so much more to this. Obviously, I think we spent a whole month on it. So I'm going to get out of this now and we'll go on to the next portion of this. Let me get to my little notes that I've got here on my screen in a second. All right, we must gain momentum. It's absolutely necessary to see lasting change that becomes effortless because momentum is the driving power. Momentum is on the move. It's what it is. It's very hard to stop once it gets going. Okay, I'm reiterating myself because living in a mess can feel overwhelming and all-consuming. I want to help you get out of the mess in a way that not only changes your home, but also allows for life to unfold. Because the thing about living in a mess is it stops us from doing the things that we want to do, the things that we yearn for or really matter to us, even down to just being with people. How many things would you love to do or achieve? But you know that until you get the place cleaned up and your act together, there's no way you can even attempt them. Don't let a habit of messy stop you from living your life. I can help you do both. And that is something that you can do. You can get the house together while you're doing the other things that matter to you. And the reason I could say this, first of all, because hundreds of people have. The other reason I could say this to you is because when you have a plan for something, a plan that you can actually go to and check off and do, then it's so easy to be able to have another plan for the things that matter to you, like maybe spending more time with your child, or reading more, or watching more of your favorite movies, or starting a business, writing a book, socializing more, traveling more, whatever it is that you want to learn or do differently. When you have a plan in place for home, then you can walk past that dirty living room, that crowded spare room, that overcrowded dining room table or kitchen table. You could walk past that and say, yeah, I see you're there. You're in my plan. I'm getting to you. I know exactly when I'm hitting your ass. And you do your thing. It's not like you're not doing anything. You certainly are. You're working on whatever it is in this portion and time to work on. And you have a routine that you're following. You have habits that you are practicing, like do it now, not later. It goes where it goes. Get up, dressed and ready before anything. Oh my goodness, don't pass it up, pick it up. There's so many. I think we've got 13 of them. We used to have 12. Closed cabinets, closets, and doors. I know drawers, that sounds so silly, like, what the heck is that? You'll be surprised how often you know what it is, because we have work perception of time. And we think we're always in such a rush and we have no time. So we'll be in the bedroom getting dressed and we'll leave the bedroom with all drawers open. It seems like a little thing, but it is one of the issues that makes everything look messy. And it's also something that affects our mind, with our mindset, moving ahead, feeling like you're always rushed. There's never enough time. It gets to the point where there's something so simple that will take you 10 seconds to do, and we don't do it because we have a work perception of time. So one of the other things is the status quo principle. And that's, you want to leave everything status quo and realize that the only reason it's a mess is because of my bad habits. So if I have a cup I just drank and I need to leave the house, count Mississippis. One Mississippi, that's another one of the habits. Count Mississippis or elephants. One Mississippi, two Mississippi, three Mississippi. Getting ourselves to a level of it's a status. I'm trying to think of the word. Standard, that's it. The word is standard. Okay, so what happens is you end up building a standard for yourself that is very it moves you. It moves you to do what it is that you wouldn't have done before. Where if you have the standard that I don't leave stuff all over, then it kicks in with the count Mississippis, and you stop yourself and you say, no, I can rinse this cup and put it in the drain or in the dishwasher. One Mississippi, two Mississippi, three Mississippi, four Mississippi. And we find out that thing that we thought we had no time for was 5 Mississippis. Even sometimes just down to cleaning up the lunch that we made. It took you 10 seconds to clean up that lunch. But because of our work perception of time and our standards of we don't have enough time, oh, I have to do this, oh, I have to do this. Well, we don't realize that, guess what? It all can get done. The people that live in the homes that are together and neat, they have the same lifestyle you do. Some of them even more difficult to live. Some of them have an infant, a child in a wheelchair, and a job. And they managed to keep the house together. And I know you could be saying, well, Kathy, that really doesn't happen in real life. Yes, it does. And I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen it many times. And three actually, well, probably more than three, but three particular times was during, one of them was personal to me, and another two was when I was volunteering for people who had cancer. One woman was bedridden, and I volunteered because our church said, what can we do to help the family? And one of the things I volunteered to clean. So I said, I'm sure she can't be keeping up with the cleaning. So I'll go there and clean. She had two little kids, two children under the age of 5, a husband that was working days, going to school at nights, and an elderly mother that wasn't in the greatest shape herself. And when I went there, this is part of Title II University now as a Title II master class. Title II University, just for me to say this quickly, is now like an umbrella. It's the school where everything lives. So when I went there, I really expected to have to dig her out. And this is part of a no excuse school that is part of Title II University, Title II master class. So I expected to dig her out, I'm like, oh my gosh, and that was fine. It was my decision. But there was no mess to clean up. There was only things to clean because they had good habits. Whether you're sick or not, it doesn't take any more time to take that glass, rinse it out, and put it in the drain than it does to leave on the end table and get another glass. Or that garbage that you have in your hand, the wrapper that you just opened. There is a trash bin right ahead. It maybe takes you another 3 seconds to put that into the trash bin. It's just bad habits. So in those homes, all I had to do, there was 2 houses that I went to 2 different times, many years apart. And it just needed stuff that needed elbow grease. The counters needed to be wiped down. The sink needed to be cleaned. The floors needed to be washed and vacuumed. The bathtub had bathtub ring. Whatever required elbow grease wasn't getting done. But there was no clothes laying around. There was no garbage lined up in the kitchen. There were no dishes piling up in the sink. There was no, did I say laundry? There was no laundry piled up. Like that wasn't a part of their reality. It's 2 things, really. It's habits and standards. And when we realize that we can have those standards, it elevates things. I have something called the Princess Project. I actually have it for free for people. It's cool. I don't know for how long I'll have it for free, but I do it now just so that people can, see what we've got going on inside of our inner circle group. And so that's where that's available. And I recommend it to you, even if you've got it together, because it really is a great lesson in self-care. Anyway, there's that. Excuse me a second, I have to cough again. Okay, so here's something else. We can't fix what we don't know how to fix. Like an example could be that you could have $100 bill in a book in the library. You could spend a lifetime looking for it and never find it. But if I told you it's in Gone with the Wind on page 54, all you have to do is locate the book in the library, and the money is yours in an instant. Most of the reason that you haven't seen success is because you haven't known how. A lot of times, most of the time, it isn't because of our lack of trying. It's because we don't know what to do. If I told you sit down on the piano and start playing, and you never learn, would that be fair at all? Of course not. But what if we lived in a world where everyone was musical? There were some people that weren't, and they had to fake it. So they never invited anybody over because they knew that they'd have to play the piano, or they'd have to play violin or something, because everybody had them. We live in a world where everybody's musical. Well, some of those people are going to have to learn how to play music. And it's very unfair that because the majority of the world knows how, that the people that are not among the majority don't know how. The fact is, though, between me and you, there's more of us than there are of them. But because it's such a stigma, a social stigma, we don't admit it. And so we manage, we figure it out. And I'm telling you that you are so amazing that you pull off what you pull off. Because without knowing how to do it or what to do, without being able to really voice how hard it is because of the backlash you get from people, if you tell them, I haven't showered in a week, or I can't go in my bathtub without emptying it with buckets because I can't call the person in to clean it because there's so much crap in my house that I can't get the plumber in here because I'm too embarrassed. That's a true story, by the way. She's amazing now. But that stuff, that happens. And I know you know that happens. And I forgot my train of thought and why I went to that. But I could get a sip of water while I think about it. Oh, I know. I was saying how amazing you are that you pull it off. That there's so many adjustments you have to make in life. And even sometimes be able to have people over and host a celebration when you don't know how to do it and you're scrambling to get it done. But you do. You do it. Once you find out, oh, this is how I have to do, this is what I have to do, what a difference it makes. There's another example I could give you with that, and it was Al-Anon. I really don't think I can go on to this because we're already at 3:00. If you guys are okay to stay till 3:30, I know I could have, 3:30 in my world. It's top of the hour. If you guys are okay to stay till just another half hour, then I'll continue. If you need to pop off, then go ahead. But before you do, please put in the chat how you did during this time. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them so you can get it on the recording, all right? But I don't want you to stop and look at the chat because then, it's just going to take more time because I'm going on too long. So I'll just say the element thing. I for years, I used to go to God for help, which I do believe we need to do. Always. And that's just my personal opinion. If you're in trouble, you bring Jesus with you. But in my mind, it was the only thing that I should do. So I was married and my husband was an alcoholic and there were issues in our marriage. And we would constantly go to a pastor or to friends that were really spiritually mature and talk to them. And things would get better, things would change, but never long enough. Something would always go back to not being okay. And then I went to Al-Anon. And within the first week of sitting there, and I dug into the literature. I went to the library, I got tapes. It was that long ago. I got tapes and, cassette tapes and books, and I went to meetings. And I was like, holy mackerel, this is what I needed. Because these people specialized in that particular thing. And there were things that no matter how much a clergy or a spiritually aware person, a God-loving, Bible-believing, spiritually miracle manifesting human being could be, that would not be able to help in that situation because they didn't know. I learned later that we never don't go to a specialist. We go with God. We go to a specialist with God, but we don't go to only God if we need a specific help. If God forbid you had chest pains, yeah, it says that Jesus is the healer, but what's the right thing to do? Call 911, right? Get to the hospital, go to the specialist. Things will change. This is the same thing. You may have been trying to change things and do things forever, but if you don't know how are you going to do it? What I learned from Pam Young and Peggy Jones from their book, Sidetracked Home Executives. And I teach people their method with quite a bit of a twist, but their foundation is the same. Of course, I have their permission. And the thing is that until I learned what I learned from them, I was spinning my wheels. It was always cleaning a mess, cleaning a mess, cleaning a mess, cleaning a mess. It's what it always was, because I didn't recognize that I was a different type of person than everybody else. And I didn't recognize there were certain things that just don't come naturally to me and that I have to learn and do. And also that there's some things that The organizationally gifted person, it's kind of built in. It's like a gift. Everybody isn't gifted musically. Everybody isn't gifted organizationally. But we could learn, right? Like I might not, I used to play the piano with two hands when I was only 5 years old. I was smaller than that. Does that mean that I can play in Rockefeller Center now? I can go to, no, I can't. Rockefeller Center isn't the place. What is it? It's, oh, it's another center though. It's where the Rockettes play. What is it?
Hall.
What?
Are you talking about Carnegie Hall?
That's it. Praise God. Okay. Yes. I'm not playing in Carnegie Hall because I never pursued it. I could just do it for enjoyment for myself. But there's somebody out there that couldn't freaking put two fingers together on the piano without making it sound like crap. But they learned. And now they're at Carnegie Hall because they practiced. So we definitely can get where we want to go. So that's the main reason for our theme for this meeting today. It's going to be our theme for the month of next month, in particular, when we'll do it like a workshop. Okay, wait, time's up. So that means that 3 hours, it's 3 o'clock in my world. 1 hour's gone by. So I'm going to set the timer again for 25 minutes, okay? And then we'll close up, all right? If you need to run, then of course, take off. Otherwise, we'll just wrap this up, all right? If it ends before 25 minutes, we'll stop it. But I'm going to start the timer now at 25. If you need to do another intention, then go ahead. I'm going to do my voice again. Okay, so if you need to do set another intention, go ahead, or just keep going, right? You got another 25 minutes, which means that we were together a solid hour and a half. So far, we've been together a solid hour, and you've gotten whatever you've gotten done. So you have this much time to work on it in the meantime. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again because the one thing that there's two things that I really wanted to share, and because it'll definitely help you. I didn't want this to be just something where you worked on something, you got a little piece of it, and then you're left with nothing that you can implement. So far, I think there's plenty that you can implement, like changing your mind about certain things, knowing that if you want to change something, that you have to just have a different perspective on it, and then do it every day. And don't be mad at yourself if you don't do it right. Of course you can. That you're wonderful just like you are, and there's nothing wrong with you. There's a few other things, but I won't go on. All right, so this is not something that we could get into very long. We spent a whole month on this. But I could definitely help you understand it in a nutshell. And it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And I'm going to hit play, and we'll just quickly go through this. So this slide says, when we find ourselves in the state of quitting, feeling like we failed or becoming derailed, we have to see that these things are just phases, not failures. And it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It explains why we start off excited, but then never actually reach the goal we were excited about reaching. And so the reason for that is because when we start something, we're really in a base. We're in the bottom. We're at the bottom. We're just beginning. But when we start something, when we're just beginning, we don't believe that we're just beginning. We're so excited. And we think, I'm going to do this thing. They call that the amount of stupidity, where we start something thinking that we've got this. And then as we move ahead, the actions show we don't got this at all. Because what ends up happening is it's not as easy as we thought it was going to be. And a lot of times what happens is we'll just fall. We fall from the amount of stupidity into the valley of despair. Now, this one thing is a big deal because just knowing this helps us to know, oh, I just need to get up. This is logical. I just need to get up. And then, so right there, we got that. Awesome. When you're going to start something and it's hard and it sucks and you're not good at it, know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That's normal. Then you say, okay, here I go. The thing that's really important is to know that it's not a straight line. It's a climb. So let's see. This says it's all very emotional. We're chasing a good feeling, not aware that it doesn't always feel good. It's not supposed to always feel good. That's normal. What we want to do is chase results, not feelings. We need to know that we just have to continue to put in the work to get the results that bring us to something called the slope of enlightenment. Now, when we get to this slope of enlightenment, which is this is after we've had ups and downs and falls and flat lines and good times. This is great. Everything's great. Oh my God, this sucks. Oh, this is hard. That's the journey. If you continue, though, eventually you get to the slope of enlightenment and it's enjoyable. So we talk about the known and the unknown, and this is important to know. We're not going to get into it deeply, but it will definitely be a place where you could leave feeling like, oh, good, I get it. The known and the unknown is that some things we are very aware of. We're aware. Wait a minute, I have them on my nose, and so that's not going to sound good. I'm going to mute myself for a second. How will I do that? Okay, I'm back. All right, so this is a big deal to know, the known and the unknown, is because if we don't understand the process of something that we're going after, then we will kick ourselves in the ass and quit earlier than we should because we think we should be better at it at a particular time. We know that exercise, when we exercise, that pain is good. So we keep going because we know that. That's the known. But when we're starting to do something else, like say, clean up the house that we think everybody should know how to do, and then it's hard for us, or even just getting up with the alarm is something that we have to like eventually just trick ourselves to do, like take the alarm clock, not sleep with our phone, bring it out of the room, like go to such severe extremes just to get up on time. We could be saying to ourselves, oh my God, this sucks. I'm never going to get this. This is too hard. No, if you knew that that is the way it goes, then you would embrace the journey just like you would the pain. Because if you're working out and you are done and you leave the gym or your little session that you had in front of the TV or something, and your butt is aching, it's burning, you're about to step up a curb or you're about to walk up the stairs, and just that one move of your leg, moving it up, hurts your leg, you would never say, I'm not going to that gym again. Look at what it did to me. Because you know that that means you did good. And you wouldn't only say, wow, I did good, but you'd be proud of it. And you would feel like, I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to take a break tomorrow because that's the rules, right? Go to the gym, you work out a set of muscles, give those muscles a break the next day. There's ways of doing things. And part of what we're doing together here is figuring out that there's ways of doing things. There's ways of keeping the house clean, decluttering, getting the house clean, maintaining the house. There's all these little rules that file around it. And when we're doing it, the Dunning-Kruger effect helps us to know that as we're doing it, it isn't going to always be easy. We're not going to want to do it, but that means that we're on the road. I don't know if I have a script for this. I probably don't, but when we're on the road and we fall down, things don't go well. We hit potholes. There's hurdles. When that happens, what's going on is you're on the road. Only the people just doing nothing experience nothing. So when you experience the trial, the tribulation, the heartache, the pain, the aggravation, the failure, it means that you're doing something. You're on the road. It's the way it's supposed to be. Now, there's more to this, which, like in this one slide, that we all come with a certain backpack, right? We all have some stuff that we carry with us, some issues that we have. And so we have to be aware of those issues and beliefs and carrying them with us as we go. So some of the journey is going to be harder based on what you're going through, what you've been through. And then some things we just have to let go of and realize I have these things in my backpack that are not serving me. I need to let go of them. So, like we hear in the slide, we need to replace our old beliefs, our old bad habits, our old negative perceptions of self, and stop spending time on things that don't nurture what it is that we're going after. We need to have the right tools in our tool belt. Self-care with the right amount of fun, rest, and what matters to us most mixed in. We can't be all work and no play. We can't be. We just need to understand, here's my plan. This is what I want to do. Or I should be like that. This is what I need. This is what I want to do. Here's my plan. Now I understand the journey. I'm on my way. And as we go, we want to enjoy it. So let's see. This is the journey, okay? You start at the bottom. It takes effort and growth and energy to climb the initial hill. Since life is what it is, we need to expect to fall down. But we're still on the track, even if you have fallen down. The ups and downs are part of the track. It's the process of growth. And the thing with the Dunning-Kruger that you want to make sure that you go home with is that each time you take the trip, you make the journey, you improve a little bit each time. And each time you're on another level. So it kind of feels like I'm not doing anything. You need to remember where you came from. Because when we hit another level, our new low is really an old high. And we just keep going like that. We have new baselines. But just because you have a new baseline, it doesn't mean that you fallen off track. We just keep moving up and then we get another baseline. We're still on track because the ups and downs, like I said before, are part of the track. And pretty soon our crashes are for shorter periods of time, fewer and further between, and not so drastic. Each time we stretch to a little bit more, and we're a little bit different than we were before. Future lows will be our highs, higher than our current highs. This is the cycle of growth. And I'm going to stop that and stop the share. And what I want us to close with is that whatever it is that you want to achieve, keeping this in mind as you get a plan and then schedule that plan. Because what do they say? Oh gosh, what do they say? Fail to plan to fail. That isn't what I'm thinking, but there's got to be nothing more true than that. I have some people in my life and I see them living their lives. And I'm like, there has never been a time when I see that statement so blatant. You could go through 10 years, 20 years, 30 years with your fingers crossed and hoping you're not going to get there. With a plan and with the understanding that the way things go is that it isn't easy, but if I keep going, I'll build momentum and I'll get there. I just have to keep going. I need to have a plan. You will get there, you will. And this is for anything at all. Learning a language, getting a house together, losing weight. Having a people behind you is huge. I join things all the time. Like recently, we just joined something that's a pelvic floor group, believe it or not, because I was peeing. I'm 63 years old. I sit all the time. And that means that I'm not using my muscles the way I should. When you don't do that, you have a weak pelvic floor and you end up just like sneezing and peeing. You know, if when I have to go, I've got to go. And there was a little course I could have got, and I could have done that alone. But I know me, and I know everyone actually, because human nature is without a support group, without somewhere to show up, you don't do it. And so I joined their little community that they have, because I knew if I didn't, that course would just sit on my computer and I wouldn't do the exercises. So I do the exercises, and when I fall off, because that's the nature of things, I dig back into the community, but I know that it's there. So whatever it is that you need to do, you can do it. And what I know about who you are is you're amazing. You have to know that the reason that you maybe don't reach certain goals in your life It's not because you're in a mess. It's not. There are so many people who are organizationally gifted to the nines, and they want to write a book. They don't. They want to change their jobs. They don't. They want to lose weight. They don't. They live in a clean house. Their house is clean and cool. It isn't about being organized that makes that happen. We've got what it takes to make that happen. We are movers and shakers. We are the people that raise our hand and volunteer. We are the people that can stop on a dime and change in action and say, oh, what, wait, something happened? All right, I can stop this and I can do that. That's part of what it takes to succeed in something. We do have what it takes. If you look at history and you look at people who are people that have made a really big difference in the world, they're right-brained. They're scattered by nature. They just learned how to make it work for them because it works for us. Look at pictures of Steve Jobs, his office. Look at pictures of Einstein's desk. Look at, what's his name? He's a white-haired author from a long time ago. He wrote Huckleberry Finn. Anyway, look at his. I have images here, but we're ready at 3:27.
Mark Twain.
That's it. God bless you.
I love him.
I do. Oh, you know what? I do have a video. I'm not a video, an image I can show you. It is right here. I don't have to search for it. So I'm going to show the screen right here to these people. I'm not going to get into Katie Couric or Oprah right now. That's a whole little story. But
What did you say about Mark Twain?
Mark Twain, look at his desk.
Oh, good.
Yeah, look at his desk. Now, when they took his picture, do you think they thought, oh, wait, you better clean that up first? It didn't affect anybody. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Obviously, this guy was messy. Now, granted, for men, if there's any men here, please don't think I'm dissing on you. I'm not. But back then, men had people that took care of him. And especially back then, they even had like housekeepers. It was very normal to have somebody like just behind you taking care of things. It definitely helped why he was able to do what he was able to do. But the fact is, look at Einstein's desk. That picture there is Einstein's office. His desk, his shelves behind him. Look at Steve Jobs' office. This is very typical of people who have, who are able to make things happen. You can make things happen. You have all that it takes. The system that I teach, that I learned from Pam and Peggy, is really the key to, it's the key. It's not only the key to getting the house cleaned up. It's the way that we can move ahead with checking the boxes and making stuff happen. I could never do this if it wasn't for that. And this is just one image, and we'll close with this one, that there's only 8% of people that achieve their goals. Do you think that all of those 8% are organizationally gifted? Did you know that the majority of organizationally challenged people in the world are people that make shit happen? It's true. Honestly, think about it. All right, so I'm going to stop this now. And I'm going to say thank you very much. Why am I saying I'm going to say? I'm saying it. So anyway, thank you very much for being here. We were together now, total of an hour and a half, which is so cool. I hope you got a lot done. I'm still going to be here for a little bit because I'm going to look at the chat. If you need to run, go right ahead. I totally understand. If you would like to be a part of my inner circle, we moved to a new platform. In that new platform, I have a community. It is very new. The enrollment is only $27 a month. You could have it for a year. You could pay for a year. We meet once a week. You don't have to meet live. If a weekend is better for people, I will do one weekend a month or maybe two. We'll have to see, but it depends on how many people need it. So I'm just saying that it's available. It's only $27 a month now because I'm transitioning. It's brand new in that new platform. And it's kind of like a celebration for me because it was something that I did that I felt like I needed to do to make things just better for everybody. And also just like a introductory kind of thing, right? If you do the annual, then there's 20% off of the annual. Turns out to be very little for the year, okay? Included with the inner circle, are all of the workshops that I've done up until now, which is the entranceway workshop, the kitchen workshop, the bedroom workshop, the Princess Project, there's goal getting. I can't think of any more, but there's 12 or 13 of them. And the master class is also included in there. Okay. So I'm just gonna look at your thing. Christy said, I'm just gonna read the chat and then we'll sign in. I put a lot. I may not achieve all because I'm still going out. There's a lot of going upstairs difficult. Yes, I know that. Christy was recently in the hospital. She needs to take it easy. Yes, and you say that here. I've been out of the hospital 1 month, but I'm trying. Good for you. And, you know, I was in the hospital last month, not last month. I was in the hospital in August. It took me a whole month to recover when I got home. Little every day. I still maintain my routine, but I didn't do a lot of the deep work, you know, and pull the couch out and clean underneath it. I took my time, a little bit at a time. Okay, so that means that, you know, time's up, but I'm just gonna read the chat and then we'll sign out. I'd love to know what you did when we were together. And any takeaways that you have from today, I'd love to hear that too. Susan said, once the counter's cleaned off in 30 minutes, one counter cleared off in 30 minutes, awesome. Laundry being pushed, excuse me. Laundry being pushed through, great teaching, Kathy. Momentum, yeah, thank you. Gail said, cleaned out dishwasher and started a clean cycle. Cleaned off a couple of countertops, filled washer with clothes to start later. And isn't it cool how there's so many things that we feel like we can't get to, and they're like, oh my God, I finished it all. Something else in the inner circle is something that I have, like a virtual co-working sessions where I'm doing something and you can just put it on and watch me do it while you do it. Let's do something too. Changing my room around, folding laundry, that kind of thing. Also some story time where I read your story. My voice is going now. I don't think I can make it. I can't get it any louder than this. Mary said, still working on table. And Christy said, I changed direction when I went to get laundry. Since we had to go upstairs, we cleaned the cluttered rug, separated trash from good things. Since walking upstairs made me exhausted. Very smart of you. But I've been living on the couch and I want to get back in my room in the next 10 days or so. Make that your goal. And you're in the inner circle. Go to bedroom workshop. I think you'll like it. Because I have a schedule in there. You put it with the schedule. And when you'll do what you'll do when you do it. There's another one called it's something about cleaning up a room, getting a room cleaned up or something like that. That's another one you could use for that. Carolyn said, I loved we don't start over. We start fresh right where we are. That's a good quote to help me focus on the progress I'm making. Amen. Yes. For so many years, I was just behind the 8 ball because I kept putting myself there. Understanding this changed everything. Looking forward to hearing your routine. Cool. That's Mary. How can I get what you just said? The inner circle, I promise I'll email it to you. What I could do is, if you could chill, I could get the link, put it in there for you. But I just didn't want to keep anybody longer than they needed to be kept. And there you go. So like I said, it's not very phone friendly, so I'm sorry about that. It doesn't mean you can't get on the phone. It's a little labor intensive, and I'm really sorry about that. But I'm working on it very shortly. You'll have an app on the phone. All right, so if you do sign up, you'll get an email. You have a 30-day money back guarantee. You can't sign it on. Okay, let's see. Darlene. Hi, Darlene. I haven't heard from you in a while. I miss you. I got a lot of things done that I had been avoiding. Thank you so much, Kathy, for meeting today. You're welcome. Mary said, love you, Kathy. Hope you feel better. I feel fine. I just don't sound it. Yo-Yo, did I say it right? Y-O-Y-O? Or is your name Susan? Is that your last name? It says Yo-Yo Susan K. Please do send the link to join the new group. This has been so helpful for me, Kathy. Thank you. You're welcome. It's in the chat. Do you see it? Wouldn't it be, let's see, would I be able to begin in April? My budget won't work until then. I understand. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I can't guarantee the $27 by April, but whatever it'll still be a great value. Susan said, so awesome of you to jump on for us when you don't feel well. But you say you're going to do something. Imagine then nobody will believe me. But you're welcome. Thank you. I love your process for this. It is exactly what I've been looking for to reprogram my thinking. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing that now, not with the house, but with other things. And we're going to be doing that also inside of Inner Circle. So thank you for saying so. Susan said to keep it fun, I often time lapse video myself. I did today and did more than I thought. Just watch. Oh, how fun that is. That's a great thing. I have one of the workshops that I have is called Making It Fun, how to make it fun to get it done. I never thought of that. That's great. I'm gonna have to add it. How fun that must be. So you put the, and then you oh my God, I love it. Can you guys see it?
So
Susan
bad
sharing.
to start.
Oh, I love it.
Right, it just was it's right off my kitchen. It's the first room I come in. And so it was bad. But yes, it was, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm showing you this, but it was bad. It's much better. I'm not finished the other side. It's not as bad as that side.
Stop it. Why do we think we have to explain? You're amazing. You think we're judging you? We're not.
It's
I
fun
didn't want to
because
speak.
I know everybody's working and yeah.
Oh, so good. I didn't want to speak at that last half because when I speak, then I show up and I wanted your screen to stay. That's a great idea. And another thing it does, not only with the reward of the fun afterwards to see it, but also as you're doing it, you don't want to not do it and not have the video play. So you'll be like, oh, I got to do it. I'm recording this. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
It works.
I'm
Yeah.
stealing it, but I'll definitely give you credit. Okay, so Mary said, so glad you joined me today. I couldn't do Friday. Oh, good. I'm glad it worked out for you. Mary said, thank you. Darlene said, Kathy, I miss you too. And Susan said, wow. And that was about the video. Great idea, right, Susan? I hope I'm saying your name right. It says Yo-Yo Susan K. I assume your name is Susan. Darlene said, the time lapse is pretty cool. So many good ideas today. Fabulous. All right. So the link is in there. It's available to you. You'll get a thank you pop up right away with a video. You also get emails that you look for. Make sure you go to your spam and I'm there for you. Okay. Today was Sunday. So on Sundays, we just started with because I had to put it on lapse for a little bit until I was back on track. But Sunday, we used to do Monday and Friday emails. Monday was Q&A emails. Friday was check-in. Now we're doing Sunday is prepare for the week day. It's actually called Set Up Sunday. So Sunday you get an email to set yourself up for the week. And then Friday there's another email to check in. And because our group is now a private group outside of Facebook, everyone can belong to it. And we have our calendar in there and all of that. So there's that. Okay, so let's see. Darlene says, Susan, how do you do a time lapse with your phone? You go on your camera, and I'm sure this is with Androids too. Susan, I don't know if you have an Android or an iPhone. With the iPhone, I know you go on your camera and you slide, and where you see it says like span or something, portrait. See that? She's showing us on the bottom. You slide it and you'll see something that says time lapse, and you click it, put your phone down and you do it. And it kind of like ticks away when you're looking at it. It looks like it's taking a recording, but it's taking I don't know. You'll see it when you're done though. Thank you, Susan, for showing. Thank you for sharing that. It was so cool. I'm sure that Android has the same feature. And I'm sure it's in the same place too. And of course, Google knows, and so does YouTube. All right. All right. So I love you guys. You'll get this recording within 24 hours. And the link again, if you didn't get it in the chat or you lose it somehow. Okay. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Love you. You're welcome. Bye-bye.